So I've got the second layer of red, the green's in between, and now I want to go back in and add some yellow. And I'm going to add it primarily where the green is. Just going to make that green a little bit richer and have more depth. So I'm just adding a layer of the yellow. I'm not pressing down, I'm just blending in a layer on top of this yellow. This green's already very yellow. And we're going to go add more green on top of it. But we don't just want to have one color. We want to have multiple colors blended in. There's also parts of the apple that have an orangish tint, like this area right in here, over in here. And we're going to add some yellow to those areas too, because red and yellow make orange. Still rotating my pencil. I'm sure y'all sick of hearing that, but you've got to do it to keep that sharp point. Once you get into the habit of doing it, you do it without thinking. Alright, so like here in this area, I'm going to add this yellow because it's got an orange tint to the red there. And I'm not adding a lot, just that light layer. If it ends up not being enough, I can always come back and add more. It's always good to just have that light layer so you can blend multiple layers. I'm going to see a little bit here on the edge of where the green meets the red. So I'm going to add some up there too. Alright, once you have the yellow kind of in all the areas that have the orange, then we're going to go back to the red. So I'm going to go back with the red, and by adding that layer on top of the yellow, it's going to blend it together and look a little bit more orange. If it doesn't look enough orange, we could always come in with that orange colored pencil and add a little bit of color, but I really like it when we use the primary colors to get those blendings in because I think it looks more realistic. Several areas I'm just going to go over with this red. I'm still doing my little circles because we're still really early on in the layering process. I'm not ready to add those lines in yet, at least not everywhere. So remember I added some yellow back here, so I'm going to add a little bit of that red on top of there too. Okay, now a color that I struggled with when I was creating this first apple was kind of these darker areas. How to create this area in particular without just, pouring on the red. And so I tried a couple of different things. And when you're doing a media study, this is valuable information because if you're going to use colored pencil for your final and you're working out these areas in your media study page, then you need this information. And this ended up being what I used right here. So what I did was I had some light green, then I added red, then I added dark green, then I added red, and then I used the blender. So it's a mixture of a couple different greens with a red. So I'm going to focus on this area right here right now on this apple. And we're going to start with the light green. And what that's going to do kind of is, create that more of that brown color. And it's not going to look brown yet, but you're going to add this green to it first. still just a light layer. You don't want to press down. You don't want to get it on there thick and burnish it, or you won't be able to blend anymore. So a little layer of green, and then what I go to next, it looks like a layer of red back over that. Just concentrating on this area right here. So I'm adding some red here. You can see it's getting darker already, but still almost kind of orangey. I think it's because that light green has so much yellow in it that it's really still super orangey. Okay. And now I think I add the dark green. So this is my dark green that I have here at home, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to go really light because it is really dark and I don't want to add too much at once. Just going to add this color in, and you can see this already is darkening it quite a bit. It's really hard for you to see on the camera, I think, but you should be able to see on your paper as you're adding that light layer of the dark green, how it's transforming that area. Now I'm still doing the little circles, not doing the lines like you see here yet. Okay, so I have this area here. That's my, kind of like this area here, and let's see. And then I used red last. So now I'm going to go back to the red, go over this one more time. And I really, want it to look red. I just want it to be a darker red. So creating that darker color underneath and then adding that layer of red on top really helps us get that color. Okay, so now I have that, and it said what I did was I used a blender pencil, and I think this is where I started pulling the lines in to create this dark area. So now all these colors that I've layered right here are blending together, and I don't really want to push down a lot because I could burnish it and I wouldn't be able to get this any darker. So I'm still trying to be careful about how much I push down. I'm going to come back a little bit with a red. And now I am doing kind of the lines of this area. I'm even thinking a little bit of the green because it still doesn't look quite right to me. Try to get some of these contour lines in to describe this area.